Welcome back, everyone. So in the last video we talked a bit about version control and Git, and so now in this video we're actually going to put into practice some common Git commands and how we actually use Git. So the first thing we're going to do is start off with our code here. So I have a folder here, code project. It just has an index.html, it has a main.js, and so nothing too fancy. And I'm going to show you how you can put this code into version control. So first things first, if you haven't followed the directions for setting up Git or on your computer, you're going to want to follow that. For Macs, most Macs already have Git initially. So if you don't have it, go to the guides here for downloading Git for Mac or Windows. Really easy, not hard to set up. If not, but if you already do have it, this is the video for you. So what you're going to want to do is, for Mac, so you can use your terminals. For Windows, you're going to use Git Bash, and you're going to cd, this is called change directory, into the terminal where your code is. So for me, it's easy. I go to my classes folder, I go to code project, or intro code project, and here are my two files, index.html, main.js. I'm inside my code project folder. If that looked a little intimidating to you, you can also just right click on the folder, click open in terminal, same thing. And for Windows, this should say Git Bash, not command line. So when you go into the folder with the code that you want to commit to version control, the first thing you're going to want to know is that you're going to turn the folder you're inside of into what's known as a repository. And the way you do that is you do the command git init. So git init says this folder code project is now a Git repository, and all the files are going to be tracked by version control. You notice it turned green, and that's great. That's what we wanted. So basic Git commands. The first one is git status. This is your safety command. This shows you everything going on in your Git repository. So what we have here is git status on branch master. You don't need to know too much about master right now. It's branching is kind of a little outside the bounds of this class. No commits yet because we haven't made any commits, and we'll learn about what commits are in a second. And untracked files. So these are new files in our folder. Git doesn't know them because we haven't committed them yet. It's basically saying we have an empty Git repository. You haven't put anything into the repository yet. Code project is the repository, but you have to purposely commit things to the repository for it to be tracked. So I'll show you what that means. So the first thing you usually always do when you do git init is add all the files in the repository. It's just kind of your initial commit. This says everything I have in here I want to be the initial things tracked. So they're untracked right now, so what I can do is do git add period that says everything in the current directory. And now if I do git status, these are staged to be committed. Okay, so before they were red, they were untracked, and now they're staged to be committed. So when I do git add, I'm adding files into a commit. They're not actually in the repository yet. The final stage of this is git commit -m, double quotes, and a little message to let me know what I did here. So I can just do initial commit. That's convention for usually your first commit. And now you'll see something that looks like this. You name an email or automatically configure, blah, blah, blah. You might not see this stuff. This is just something, but at the very end, you should see 2 files changed, or however many files you added. And then these are the lines, the number of lines inserted, because there's 12 lines in HTML. So now when you run git status, you'll see nothing to commit, working tree clean, and that's exactly what you want. These files are now being tracked, index.html and main.js. So quick review before we move forward. Git init takes a folder and turns it into a repository. If I cd out of this folder, so this is going up 1 level, and I do git status, or if I do git status anywhere that I didn't git init, you'll see something like this. It's not a Git repository, because it's not. Intro wasn't. Code project is. Going back into code project, I'm back in my Git repository. Git status works. Git status just shows you the status of the repository itself, if there's any untracked files, if there's any files that have been added, and we're about to see if there's any files modified. So if you see there's untracked files or modified files, you can add them with the git add command. And then finally, once you've added all the files you want to commit, you can do git commit -m double quotes message of some sort to record your commit. Put something better than what I did. Gibberish isn't the best. So now to kind of show you the power of Git, I'm going to do a small edit. Let's just say I want to add a variable, const x equals 7, single variable. You'll notice here my VS Code, it's turned yellow for M because I've modified it. And if I do git status, you'll see, hey, Git noticed that you made a change in this file. It says, hey, this file has been modified. If you want to add it, this will update what will be committed. So we can keep track of it, git add, and show you a different way to use git add. Dot adds everything in the current directory, which would work, and is usually what I do. But you can also just put a single file name. And just to show you that I'm not adding 2 things, I'll make a small edit in here. So h1, hello world. So I can add a single file. Whoops. And you'll see changes to be committed, modified main.js because it was added, and changes not staged for commit index.html. That's because of this h1 I added, and I didn't add HTML. So let's go ahead and add it. And then the very last step, git commit -m, added an h1 to HTML and a variable to JS file. And that's it. So once again, those are the very basic Git commands, and basically 80% of all you really ever need to know. There's more advanced Git commands, but in the context of this class, you won't need to know any more unless you mess something up, and then just shoot me a message and I can help you fix it. Thanks for watching.